With the trade deadline less than 24 hours away, I wanted to get into a few Raptor trades that make sense for the team. And I also wanted to get into some other trades that you guys in the comment section can let me know whether or not you would like to see it happen. This is the Airborne Podcast. I'm your host, Ajith. And we know we have, to the fact that in 50 games, through 50 games, that we have the same identical record as we did last season with Kawhi Leonard and Danny Green. That's an amazing thing as on its own, as it is. But the problem is, we've never had an issue in the regular season. It's always come down to the Raptors play well, even great in the regular season, but they just disappear in the playoffs. Now, I'm not saying that that's going to be the same situation this season, because we're coming in to these playoffs with the championship experience, with a lot of players, the main core players, the 7 main players, with that championship run. So, they're out there, and they're not scared of the moment, and they'll hit those big-time shots. But 2 glaring problems we have on our team is rebounding in general, offensive rebounding for sure, and just another scorer out there on days where we struggle on offense. A couple names that have been out there is Marcus Morris, who plays for the New York Knicks, but they don't have any reason to keep him because they're not going anywhere but the lottery. So they want to get some draft compensation for that. So they're looking for picks and whatnot. Knowing Masai, how he is, he doesn't like doing this, middle of the season type trades at the deadline. But he did it last year with Marc Gasol. And he did it a few years back with Serge Ibaka. Because he knew we needed those things. And even though we might not be all in this season, we are trying to defend our championship, our crown. So what we're trying to do is compete at the highest level, which we already do, but we're trying to bring down those pros that we have in our lineups. And like I said, Marcus Morris is one person that we're looking at. Drew Holiday is another. Tristan Thompson, maybe Kevin Love, Danilo Gallinari. These are just some of the names that are out there. And I put some of these names through the trade machine, and I want to let you guys in on what I've come up with, and I want to know whether or not you guys agree or disagree with these trades, and which of these trades you want to see or don't want to see. Or if you just don't want to see any trades at all and you just want to run this through in the playoffs and see where it takes us. But for us, through 50 games being the exact same record and having this championship DNA in our system now, I feel like we have a chance against any team right now, except maybe Milwaukee in the Eastern Conference and whoever comes out of the West. I think we can handle Philly. I think we can handle Miami. I think we can handle Boston. I think we can handle Indiana. Everyone is on our level, or we might be a notch higher than them because we have the experience. But Milwaukee is the one team that looks like they haven't lost a step, haven't lost a beat, and they have one goal, and they know what happened last year, and they don't want to mess that up again. Because we were the downfall to their success last year, to an amazing season. To start things off, I want to start with the New York Knicks. And we have a few contracts expiring with Serge Ibaka and Marc Gasol as of right now. Fred VanVleet, we know, is coming into free agency, unrestricted free agency, and we're going to get him back no matter what. We know we're not letting him go. He's our future with Pascal Siakam. And Kyle Lowry has one more year in his contract, and the way he's playing, the way he's, had his resume built up in Toronto, we can't just throw him away like he means nothing to us. He's done so much for the city. He embraces Toronto like DeRozan ever did. And, we're not going to trade him. I realize that. I accepted it, and I think you guys have too. And I don't even think any of you guys want to see him go. But Serge Ibaka, this is a tough one right now because of the injury with Marc Gasol. But the problem is, I don't know. I mean, we definitely need size, And I don't agree with this one completely because of the injury situation. Now, if you can promise me Marcus Gasol is going to be fully healthy for the rest of the season, even including the playoffs, I'm down with this trade. But he's such an amazing insurance policy that this one kind of hurts to let him go just at this specific moment. And just the way he's been playing. He's having his best season in his career, of his career. So right now, this trade I'm about to say is Serge Ibaka gets sent to the New York Knicks, and in return, we get extra three-point shooting with Wayne Ellington and extra score with Marcus Morris. Now, Marcus Morris is averaging around 20 points a game, and Wayne Ellington hasn't had the run that he expected to have in New York, but you know he's always red hot from three. He's a sniper, and he comes curling off those picks for open threes all the time. You've seen him kill previous Raptor teams in the past, so you know what he's capable of when he gets hot. Marcus Morris has been someone we've been looking at for a while, and with OG struggling as he is on the offensive end, I feel like Marcus Morris could step in that position right away. Not saying that he has to take the starting role as soon as he gets here if we do trade for him, but on nights where we know where OG has a span of 5 games where he's just not playing well on the offensive end and making shots, Marcus Morris can take that position. OG doesn't mind going to the bench. He's done it before. He did it last year with Kawhi. So I don't have any issue with Marcus Morris being traded to the team because he just fills in that 3 spot. Next trade I got is sending Marc Gasol to OKC for Steven Adams. Now, Steven Adams, he has a 2-year contract. So, he has an extra year after this season, I believe. And I think he fits well for our team. He's still young enough to go with that core of Pascal and Van Vliet. And he's had enough experience in the playoffs to make big time plays and have big time moments. The problem with this is Steven Adams doesn't stretch the floor like Marc Gasol does. And the disrespect they're giving Marc Gasol on this ESPN trade machine, they're saying that Steven Adams will bring us a +5 in wins and he'll be a -6 for OKC. Now, we don't know if OKC is going to blow this up as of yet, but I'm hoping they kind of do because they've got a few pieces that we could be interested in that can make us or help us in our championship, repeat to defend the throne and defend the crown. Marc Gasol, problem with him right now, he's been injured a few times, and we don't know if he's going to be healthy going into the playoffs because he's a big piece to our puzzle on defending the championship because when we play big people like Joel Embiid and, actually Joel Embiid's the only one in the East right now, or in Milwaukee, Brook Lopez, those guys are going to be tough, especially the fact that they, can shoot the 3, especially Brook Lopez. He shoots it at a high clip. Joel Embiid, not so much, but Marc Gasol is such a good post defender. He's always, he's a smart defender, and a lot of people don't give him as much credit as he deserves, even though he's on the later end of his career. But Steven Adams would be a good choice, but he's been injured a lot this season too, so I don't know if this makes sense for the Raptors, but you guys can let me know in the comment section. I'm going to go back quickly to the Marcus Morris situation with Wayne Ellington coming from New York. It doesn't say how many wins they give us. I believe that means it's even. But Serge Ibaka going to New York says it's a -7 wins. I don't know about that. Next trade, Washington Wizards. Now, Norman Powell hasn't had the best luck this season, and he's been hit with a few injuries. He's only 26, turning 27, so trading him, it kind of hurts because he's had big moments for us, especially against Milwaukee in the playoffs. He's been doing well since his rookie season. He did really well in the rookie season, and this year he's been doing really well, being very consistent. Only problem is in the couple years when he got his contract, he was playing inconsistent in and out of the lineup, so it felt like he wasn't going to reach the potential that we initially thought he would. And now he has, and it hurts to kind of send him away. But if we do this trade, sends him to Washington, and in return we get back Davis Bertans and Isaiah Thomas. Now Davis Bertans is a player that's about 6'10", previously played in the San Antonio system, and he's a sniper from three. He could play that small forward position just like Marcus Morris can if OG doesn't, if he doesn't start getting or making threes again. Because he's been averaging single-digit points for like the last 7 games. And it hasn't shown that much. It hasn't been highlighted because the Raptors have been winning and other players have stepped it up. So it hasn't been that type of, there hasn't been the limelight on him like it would have been if we were on a losing streak. And don't get me wrong, OG still brings it on the other end every night. He's always playing super, super aggressive, super intense defense. And we can't knock him for everything because he never came in as a shooter anyways. He came in as a defensive specialist, and he's been doing that since day one. So I'm not knocking him for not making the threes, but sometimes if our offense isn't clicking, we're going to need him to make some open threes. And if he can't do that, then he's going to get replaced with somebody else. And we need a sized, a 3-size guy who's in that 6'8" to 6'10" range. We also get Isaiah Thomas in this trade, and I don't know if he's just he seems like he's just a filler out, like a filler for the trade. But at the same time, we have small guards who have thrived in our system, so this could be a blessing in disguise for Isaiah Thomas. Don't get it wrong. Don't get it twisted. I mean, the man literally cannot defend anyone because he's only 5'6", if I'm being honest. People say he's 5'9", but I think he's 5'6", maybe 5'7", maybe 5'8" with heels. But I mean, he seems like he's playing well for Washington, and if he's put in the right system, he could thrive. Who knows? We could use him for a good year, especially off the bench. We're looking for that third point guard. And with John Wall coming back and Washington getting healthy, the run for Isaiah Thomas doesn't look like it's going to extend after this season, if I'm being quite honest. Next trade. It's with the Golden State Warriors. Now, we've been hearing rumblings about D'Angelo Russell getting traded out of Golden State. And a lot of teams are looking at him. New York, Minnesota is in love with him, has been in love with him since last summer, trying to pair him up with Karl Anthony Towns. But the Raptors can sneak in. You never know. And his age really does match with our core of OG, Fred VanVleet, Pascal Siakam, Norman Powell. The problem is, in this trade, we would be shipping out Serge Ibaka, OG Anunoby, and Terrence Davis for D'Angelo Russell and Glenn Robinson III. Now, I don't know about you guys, but the man, Terrence Davis himself, dropped 31 points, a career high, and he scored multiple 20-point games, and he scored 15-plus in a lot of games as a Raptor in his rookie season. Now, do we think that his potential can get to that elite standard like Fred VanVleet, where it wouldn't be worth trading him for D'Angelo Russell? Because we know D'Angelo Russell is an offensive juggernaut. We know that. And his defense is it's lacking, but if he can come out and knock those threes like he does for Golden State every night, averaging all-star numbers this season with 24 points a game, roughly, I mean, would you take that over Terrence Davis? I mean, I don't know. Right now, we have our guards ready to go with Fred VanVleet, Kyle Lowry. No one's dropping that spot anytime soon. So I don't see where D'Angelo Russell would fit on our roster, is what I'm trying to say. But you guys let me know in the comment section down below. Serge Ibaka is going to be the centerpiece of a lot of these trades just because he's on the final year of his contract and he's still young enough to continue being on our team. He's only 30 years old, but his contract matches so many of these other contracts with other teams that he legit would be the centerpiece, and he would just be, a filler for the other team, and they would just let him walk into free agency next season. OG Anunoby in this trade is hard to let go, but we need scoring, and we can always find defenders. We still have Rondae Hollis-Jefferson. But yeah, we shall see. Next trade, I would say I'm going to talk about the Cleveland Cavaliers. They got two pieces on their puzzle, on their roster, that the Raptors could use tremendously, immensely. Those two pieces are Tristan Thompson and Kevin Love. Now, for Kevin Love, even though he has 4 years left on his contract, actually, you know what? That's the nail that's the nail bite, not the nail biter, but that's like the nail in the coffin for us to kind of back away from this trade. That's the icing on the cake. 4 years is a lot of time, and he has a lot of money left to pay him off with. He has a lot of money left on that contract, and we're trying to go into the free agency of 2021 with a buttload of money, and we're trying to sign those main key free agents that are franchise changing, that will take us to the promised land one more time, if not multiple times in the future to come. But this trade would be sending Serge Ibaka and Stanley Johnson to Cleveland for Kevin Love. Now, Stanley Johnson's just a filler, obviously, but he's still young enough to make it work somewhere if he can get his head together. He clearly doesn't know how to play basketball, or his confidence is just completely gone. A guy that's had a starting role in Detroit for so many years, to not be able to string a solid amount of games when he gets playing time, it doesn't make any sense. In the G League, he looks like he plays amazing basketball, but I don't think he's fit for the NBA, and I think he's going to be let go soon. The only reason why he's still around is because he's a really good defender, and he showed that against Kawhi Leonard last season. Now, Kevin Love would help us with the rebounding, would help us with stretching out the floor. The problem with him is he's going to probably play the consistent 5, because unless we move Pascal Siakam to the 3, which doesn't make sense because he's the most effective at the 4. And Kevin Love is most comfortable at the 4 over the 5, so I don't know how that would work, which is why I don't see this trade happening, not just because of the money, but because of the position issue. But don't get it twisted. I love Kevin Love, and he could be a lot of help for us. He has a championship experience, but I don't see this happening. Tristan Thompson is someone I do see that we can bring in. He's a Toronto's own, Brampton's very own, and he loves I told you the last few times we played him, he was hugging up Pascal. He knows Nick Nurse is a coach of Canada. He's cool with Kyle Lowry. He's played us multiple times in the playoffs. He's seen us win a championship last year. So I know he's comfortable coming back home. But this would be a straight up Serge Ibaka for Tristan Thompson swap, and for him it doesn't say I don't know why it's not showing any win difference for Kevin Love or Tristan Thompson, but Serge Ibaka going to Cleveland apparently is a -16. God damn. I'm not gonna believe this. Obviously, it's just I don't know. It sounds blasphemy, but it is what it is. But that would be the trade for Tristan Thompson, just a straight swap. I don't know if picks would be involved, but if it happens, we'll find out, right? Next one is Dallas. Actually, there was rumors with Dallas saying that Rondae Hollis-Jefferson was someone they were interested in. So I just made up this trade where we just give up Rondae Hollis-Jefferson, Stanley Johnson, for Dorian Finney-Smith. He's improved his shooting for Dallas, and he's a really good defender. The problem is, I don't think Dallas would give him up because he's a better version of Rondae, and it doesn't make sense. Only reason I could see is maybe because of the age. Rondae still has a lot of time to improve. He's only 23, 24 years old. And Stanley Johnson's around the same age as well. But yeah, Dorian Finney-Smith, and this trade doesn't seem like it makes any difference on either team. Even though I know for sure, for a fact, that he would be solid on both the offensive and defensive end on the Raptors, just seeing how he's played on Dallas from time to time. OKC, this one's the OKC Raptor trade with Gallinari is one a lot of Raptor fans have been looking forward to because he could play the 3 and the 4, which works very well for Pascal. And we would be giving up Serge Ibaka and maybe a pick or something for Danilo Gallinari. Now this player himself, he's an Italian guy, straight out of Italy. Masai has very good knowledge of him. They have a very good relationship. He's the one who drafted him, I think, in Denver. And he also traded him to New York in that Carmelo trade. So he knows him very well. And Danilo Gallinari is playing really well for the OKC Thunder. And they're not a championship team. They're not really going to get far in the West. Even though they've exceeded expectations. If he's playing this well and he's put, the injuries behind him, I don't see why people wouldn't use his offensive juggernaut awareness, whatever you want to call it, his offensive skills on a team that actually can go far. And the Raptors, this makes a lot of sense. Like I said, OG, when he has issues shooting, Gallinari can step right in, take his place, and he's a marksman from 3. He shoots free throws really well. He's a solid defender. He's big. He's 6'10", and it works well for us. I think he'll step in and it'll be a seamless fit for us. But yeah, that's another trade that I definitely would accept, and I know a lot of you guys would too. But let me know in the comment section. We're only less than 24 hours away, so we're gonna either see it happen or we're not. But I hope something does happen for the Raptors. It makes everything a lot more exciting, as long as it doesn't mess with their main core. And then the last trade, is it the last trade? Yes, it's the last trade. With Serge Ibaka, well, before I get into the trade, we're talking about the New Orleans Pelicans. Right? We're talking about the New Orleans Pelicans, and we're talking about Jrue Holiday. That's a name that's been circling around Raptor Nation. And Jrue Holiday is an amazing piece to add. He's a really good defender. You saw him shut down Damian Lillard in the past in the playoffs. The problem is I don't know where he'd fit in our lineup because we still have Kyle Lowry and Fred VanVleet. Even though he's a sure upgrade over Fred VanVleet with the size and the defense and even offensively, I mean, we're not going to just drop Fred VanVleet out of the lineup and put Jrue Holiday in there. I don't see this one making sense. But I got Jrue Holiday and Derek Favors heading to the Raptors in exchange for Serge Ibaka, Norman Powell, Patrick McCaw, and Stanley Johnson. Now, Derek Favors is added into this contract or into this trade because we need a big man to replace Serge Ibaka. We can't just go Jrue Holiday, lose a big man, and lose that size we have in the paint. That's not happening. So we're getting Derek Favors back, and he's still young enough to play for us for a while. I don't know if I would say Derek Favors is an upgrade over Serge Ibaka offensively, but offensive rebounding wise, Derek Favors is a beast, and he's pretty decent offensively. And we're giving up 2 big pieces for my championship team in Serge Ibaka and Norman Powell, which is sad to see. Patrick McCaw, another champion. Sad to see because he's still young, and Stanley Johnson I really don't give a rat's ass about. But it says that the Pelicans would be a -5 wins in this transaction and the Raptors would be a +1, which is a good thing, but you never know how it is in person over paper. And another thing, Gallinari, it says would be a +1 for the Raptors if he was traded in this transaction were to go through, and it says that Serge Ibaka would be a -1 for the OKC Thunder. These are the trades that I've come up with. Hopefully y'all enjoyed it. Let me know, like I said, like 100 times in the comments, in this podcast, to drop me some knowledge in the comment section. Let me know what other trades you've come up with, or if you agree or disagree with these trades. And we'll be back. We'll see you tonight for the post-game podcast with the Indiana game, big game for the Raptors. It's a playoff contender that we're going against, and we're fully loaded finally against them. Not really, actually. We still have Norman Powell and Marc Gasol out, but we got Van Vliet and Siakam back. So we'll see how this goes. But till then, stay blessed, stay woke, and please stay safe. Peace.